I don't kill with my gun. I kill with my heart.
So The Dark Tower is the latest Stephen King story to be adapted onto the big screen, and it basically is about this tower that holds the entire universe together. And if it goes down, so does the universe. And it starts this boy, played by Tom Taylor, and he makes it to this world where the Dark Tower is. And there he finds the last gunslinger, played by Idris Elba. And he's trying to defeat the Man in Black, played by Matthew McConaughey, who's trying to take down the Dark Tower. So I'm not really familiar with the source material because I'm not a real big fan of books. And so basically all I knew about this movie was what the trailer showed me. And I wasn't really expecting creatures, like all these different types of creatures. Like there's a house that tries to eat you, and then there's giant spiders and stuff like that. But they're all shown in a matter of like 20 minutes. And so I wasn't really mentally prepared to see any of that kind of stuff. So that part kind of confused me and took me off guard. And so since I felt confused at that part and some other parts, I honestly wish they would have went into more of an explanation about this world instead of jumping right into it or something to make me mentally prepared for it. And honestly, I just would have preferred the movie to be a little longer because it felt too short. Like there was too much that was cut out of the movie that felt like it should have been in there. So let's get the performances out of the way. Idris Elba, I think he did good. I enjoyed his performance. And then the kid, I thought he was all right. He wasn't bad. However, Matthew McConaughey, I really didn't care for him because he's supposed to send like chills down your back and feel threatening, yet none of that happens. However, I don't think it's just Matthew's fault. I think it's also the script's fault because he plays a character where he uses magic. And the three skills that they show us in the film, I don't know what his limits are on magic, but he uses telekinesis, like fire out of his hand, and he tells people to do something and they do it. Now, the main one he uses is he tells people to do something and they do it. So there's multiple times in the film where he's just like, don't breathe. And there's not really a whole lot of tension with that because there's no maybe he'll live, maybe he won't. It's just he's dead. Like he just, like, it just happens. There's no really a whole lot of tension with that because they're just words, but they actually happen. So, I mean, that didn't really work for me. And his name's Walter. Like, Walter's not a very threatening name. Unless your name's Walter White, then I understand. However, there's multiple times they refer to him as Walter, and it's just like, why? I would much prefer them refer to him as the Man in Black, because that just sounds more threatening than Walter. Another thing that I found weird about the movie is that they go out of their way to tell us that the gunslinger can heal fast. Yet he's sick or something, which they really don't go into much explanation about. So he can't heal as fast as he normally can. So what was the point in telling us that? Now, this movie's not all bad. Like the action scenes, there's some good ones and there's some mediocre ones. However, I think the good ones are primarily towards the end because that's probably more towards where my favorite part is. And then there's something that happens that leads to some comedic payoff, and it does work in my opinion. And overall, this movie did keep me somewhat entertained, even though it is kind of weird and confusing at first. So I'm going to give The Dark Tower a 4 out of 9. So The Dark Tower starts off kind of weird, but you kind of get used to it, so it becomes kind of decent. The Dark Tower is sitting on a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes with an average score of 4 from those critics. So I mean, it's not great, but I mean, it's alright. So thank you all very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below to see more content like this. And remember, no movie is a perfect 10 out of 10. God bless you all.